Yes, we got coronavirus, COVID-19 to worry about as black people. But we never can put down the fact that racism in America is the number one thing we probably need to worry about. So you have Ahmaud Arbery. He was 17 years old when Trayvon Martin was murdered by a racist who shouldn't even be alive. George Zimmerman shouldn't even be walking the face of the earth now. And you know, back then, Ahmaud Arbery, he talked to his family about it. He read the articles and posts online, talked about it in the school with his friends. Maybe his parents had to talk with him. And just like in his mind, just like in most of our minds as black men and black people, what would I do if that happened to me? If I'm coming from the store with a soda or a tea and some Skittles or whatever, what would happen if somebody just jumped out on me? What would I do? How would I react? Could I get away? Could I fight the person off? And 8 years later, it actually happens to him. Ahmaud Arbery taking a job in Brunswick, Georgia. Let me tell y'all something. When we hear the state Georgia, we normally think of Atlanta. Sometimes we think of Macon, it's thrown out there. Sometimes Savannah's thrown out there. But normally we think of Atlanta. Atlanta is super black. One of probably the most beautiful city I've ever seen as far as black people go. And then if you venture outside of Atlanta, especially south, but the minute you get outside of Atlanta, Confederate flags everywhere. And in between South Atlanta or the southern border of Atlanta going to Florida, it's probably 2.5, 3 hours. Confederate trucks, and I mean the pickup trucks with the bumper stickers, the Confederate bumper stickers. Some have the actual flag, huge flags just flapping in the wind, hanging from the truck. And sometimes you can even see shotguns displayed in the trucks. I mean, the shotguns are right there in the back window. Sometimes they be in the front window. And they say don't pull over in certain places. Fill up your gas or fill up your tank in Atlanta and keep it moving till you get to certain parts of Florida. So Ahmaud Arbery seemed like he was hunted down by Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael. Greg is a father. Now, Greg has experience in the police force, investigation, everything. And he knows the keywords. He knows the keywords. He knows what to put in a report. And y'all always hear these tag lines or the tag words. Threat, burglary, suspicious, all these terms, criminal, running away from the scene, fleeing the scene. You always see these little things pop up. And they put one on him. He's retired. But just imagine how many people he put that on when he was an actual policeman or investigator or whatever. Just imagine how many people he may have sent to jail or sent to the cemetery and filed a false report. So it looks like it's not his fault or another officer's fault. Just think about that, because that's common and it's hard to prove. But this time we had footage. So check this out. There were actually 3 men. You got the father, son in the truck, and then you got a third man. His name is William Bryan. Now, William Bryan isn't a hero directly because he filmed it, and then the 3 of them watched it later. And then they watched it again. And then they watched it again. So it was something fun for them. A lot of people don't realize that. But they watched this. And then it got so good that William Bryan, I think his nickname is Roddy, he began showing it to other people. Check this out. Remember that murder? And that guy was in it? Well, check this out. Look at this. Ooh, and they pass it around. And they looking at it. And they looking at it. Finally, it got to somebody who said, you know what? This ain't right. And they put it in the hands of someone else. So that's how the video got out. So thank God for whoever that person was, who had the common decency and the common sense to want to see some justice come through. But how many black mothers have to cry? How many black mothers have to have their children or their husbands or their fiance, boyfriends, daughters, fathers? How many black women have to go through this? This is it's rough. Really rough on black mothers, rough on black men as well, because most of us really experience this and we go through situations like this. It can, oh my goodness, it can overwhelm you if you're not too careful. And if you really get sucked into the feeling of paranoia and the feeling of worthlessness. But you're not worthless to yourself and to those who care about you. Please don't feel that way. If you're somebody who was getting overwhelmed with the mental thoughts, you're like worthless to them. That's them, and they don't matter. They are the enemy, and they are who need to be stood up to. So it seems like most of the time when something like this happens, it gets swept under the rug. So they haven't even been arrested. And they're saying the grand jury is out because of COVID. People are still getting arrested in Atlanta. You don't have to just take them right straight to the courtroom or whatever. People are still getting arrested every day in Atlanta, just like all the other cities and states in the United States. How come they won't bring these people in? Because the father, Greg McMichael, those are all his buddies, and he's affiliated with all of them. So they're all like a crew. And I believe the case has been passed around. Some judge has been saying, oh, I can't do that. Oh, nope, I can't look at that case. Nope, I know him. Nope, I'm biased. Nope. Something needs to be done. And it seems like these people always escape justice. It's like you're playing like a game of Monopoly or some game that has specific rules, and somebody keeps breaking the rules and putting you in danger, and they keep winning. And you keep telling the people, hey, they're breaking the rules. And they say, oh, they're breaking the rules? Well, let me check this out. Meanwhile, they're going on with their life. They're still doing the same thing. And then they cheat you again. Next game, next turn around the board. And you're like, they're not going to do anything about this? If I break the law, I'd be wrong. If something happened to me. What needs to happen is they need to fear breaking the law. They need to fear violating us. If they feel that, then they'll think twice before they violate one of us or violate somebody that we love, violate somebody that's close to us, because it gets closer and closer. For real. It's going to happen down the street, around the block, next city over, but it always gets close. It always comes home eventually. So something really needs to be done. So the question is, what does justice look like to you? Grand jury? Life in prison? What does it look like? 23 years of life? Oh my goodness. To me, justice looks like the son, Travis McMichael, who had the gun. Justice looks like him experiencing the fear that Ahmaud Arbery felt and experienced. That's what justice, like the beginning of it, looks like. Then justice will go to Travis McMichael feeling the pain that Arbery felt. So you got Travis, the gunman, feeling the fear and then feeling the pain. Then the father, Greg McMichael, he should feel the pain and the agony of learning and hearing that something happened to his son. He should feel that. Maybe he should even witness it. And the cameraman, yeah, he should get it too. He should catch something too. Maybe he's just the one that gets locked up, gets 20 years or something, because they said they had two vehicles, so they were trying to corner or head off Ahmaud Arbery wherever he ran. They had two vehicles where they could really stop him from going certain places and down certain streets or whatever. They can just keep up with him. That's what justice looks like to me. All three of them getting dealt with. So I think it's responsible for us to go to the gun range, learn how to shoot, learn how to aim. I think it's responsible for us to own guns. I think it's responsible for us to protect ourselves. And I'm not talking about somebody step on your shoe or someone says something smart to you, someone flips you the bird in traffic. No, not that type of protection. But when someone really comes at you, or someone in your family, or one of your loved ones, and they're really meaning harm, they mean to do you no good. And the white racists, they are like public enemy number one. If you see them in your vicinity, you better be careful. You better get the hell up out of there and go the opposite way. And you deal with them later on your terms, not on their terms. I think some of y'all can figure out and understand what I'm saying with that. But this has been probably the hardest video I had to do up to this point. It took a long time to have this camera cut on. Real long time, because my heart's been hurting. And I've been trying not to get too overwhelmed. But hopefully something will be done soon, one way or the other. My vision of justice or someone else's vision of justice, but hopefully something happens to them. And thank you for watching. Go to that gun range. Learn how to do the thing. Hold that thing right there in your hand. Put the other hand right there. Aim. Pop, 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 pop.